vacancy, and we reached out. They said, I'm sorry, we don't have space. But they do have space for their citizens, but not for migrants.
We reach out to them and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have no space, but they do have space for their citizens. These are very disturbing videos coming from Lebanon. At their lowest state, the Lebanese people are still showing us Africans how they hate us or how racist they could be. It is very unfortunate. It is very pathetic. It is very sad coming from Lebanon at this particular point in time when Israel is bombing them, whilst our leaders are going to the United Nations and are speaking for them, asking for a ceasefire, asking the world to support them.
The torment of the people of Gaza continues unabated. More than 41,000 Palestinians have been killed. Homes, hospitals, churches, mosques, and schools lie destroyed. Famine and disease stalk the streets of Gaza. This cannot but shock our collective humanity. The violence the Palestinian people are being subjected to is a grim continuation of more than half a century of apartheid. Through the United Nations and the instruments it wields, we must end the suffering that Palestinians are being subjected to. We are called upon to uphold the principles of the UN Charter and to uphold consistently and in their entirety the fundamental tenets of international law. International law cannot be applied selectively. No one state is more equal than any other. We reiterate our call for an immediate ceasefire.
In return, this is how they are treating Africans. But I'm not surprised. And the sad thing is that we have Africans who are ever ready to defend the interests of their colonial criminals more than the African, depending who colonize you. So if the Arabians colonize you, you are more than ready, because we have people, a sister was doing a video about this issue, and then we have Africans attacking her for speaking against the Arabs. Yet the Arabs are more disrespectful towards the African, even more than the European colonial criminals. But as I said, in Africa, depending who colonize you, you are more than ready to defend their interests. So if the Arabians colonize you, you are more than ready to defend the Arabian interests. If the Europeans colonize you, you are more than ready to defend the European interests over Africa. When are we going to come together and stop this nonsense towards us? Everybody wake up, they disrespect the African. Look at what is happening in Lebanon. I want us to go and see the videos, how they are treating our people at this particular point in time. Come back and talk about it. But before we do that, please don't hesitate. Don't forget to share what we are doing. It is difficult, working full-time and also doing this. It is not an easy thing. So if you appreciate what we are doing, the passion we have for Mother Africa, please then don't hesitate to support us. How do you support us? Is by sharing. Follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the #1 African Mission. We are missionaries, and our mission is all about our dignity as a people. And our dignity will come from our uniting our continent. That is why we are here, One African Mission. We are on a mission until we see a united Africa, until we chase Satan out of our beloved continent, Africa. Thank you very much. Let's go and see the videos. Come back and talk about it.
As Western countries evacuate their citizens from Lebanon, many migrant workers from the global south are stuck.
Our life is not safe. We want to return back to our country.
Beirut has been the target of repeated Israeli airstrikes. The capital has also been flooded by internally displaced people fleeing fighting in the south, close to the border with Israel. The government has set up shelters to accommodate the influx of people, but migrant workers are being turned away.
They are outside. They don't have internet, so no communication. They stay outside. Most of them, they sleep in the beach. So we are suffering. We want to return back.
This migrant from the Philippines has been making meals for those on the street.
Government schools are offering shelter for people, but migrants are not allowed. So most of the migrants are just in the street if they don't have the embassies or the consulate to accommodate them.
The number we have from the embassy, I messaged the number. It's not going to anyone. No one is responding to us.
These women say they've also been abandoned by their employers who fled to safety without them. Many say they would like to return to their home countries but can't because their employers still have their passports.
So usually this is the system here. If the employer doesn't want you, they will just drop you somewhere without your papers, and you can't do anything.
As Israel's military campaign expands and forces more people to flee northward, migrants in Beirut fear their situation only stands to get worse.
Yeah, so is it not like pathetic? Is it not disturbing that, as I said, the Lebanese people can still show Africans how disrespectful, how racist they could be? And I'm asking myself, imagine if these people, they could have the same power as the European colonial criminals have. They will be worse than the Europeans. We don't want to be talking about it, as I said. Depending who colonizes you, people will come attacking you, even though we are all catching the same hell. How could you be treating people like this? The other day, it was in Ukraine, when Russia attacked Ukraine, when the Russia and NATO war started in Ukraine. We also saw how the Ukrainians were treating African migrants. And nobody cared. The African Union will never come out to talk about it. And, most of the time, it's the same. But, Bantu Africans, we are like, our leaders have really disappointed us. To be honest, our leaders, they are disappointment to us as Africa, especially those in West Africa and East Africa. Most of the time, anytime Africans are caught on this particular situation, it is either Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Tanzania, Nigeria. Their citizens are always in front of this. Always. Our leaders have really disappointed us. And I don't blame our leaders. I blame we, the citizens. Because these sisters our citizens who are going through this, they will come back home to their respective countries and they will still support these leaders based on their tribes. It is about time we put our tribal differences aside and come to realize that we are all catching the same hell irrespective of your tribe. The Lebanese will not respect you. They don't care about your tribe. The Chinese, the Europeans, the Arabians, nobody care about your tribe. And so we have to put it aside and realize that any hell that we are catching as African people, any disrespect that we are receiving from everybody from the whole world, it is because of the color of our skin, not because, or the condition of Africa, not because of our tribes. Because they don't even know our tribal differences. And as I said, these people will come back home. They are crying today, right now. Some of them from Sudan, some of them from Sierra Leone, some of them from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Uganda, the usual suspects. These are the usual suspects. They will come home and they will still support the unfunctionary governments that are putting them into this kind of situation. Why? Because the president of my country is from my tribe. Even though if the president is not providing me anything, even though if the president doesn't care about how I will suffer and I will have to run to a war-torn zone area like Lebanon, then I'll prefer that as long as it is my tribe who is in power. It's about time we Africans stop this and realize that we the citizens are the ones catching the fire. Because our politicians' children are not facing this that we are facing in Lebanon now. You understand? So I don't blame nobody. Now the blame should be on us, the citizens. We have to stand up and demand to be respected. How will somebody respect you when you don't have respect, when you don't have value for yourself? We are not surprised because even these Lebanese, when they are in Africa, in our respective countries, they have this kind of disrespect towards our people. What if you caught yourself in their country? And what are we even doing in those countries? These are the questions. Africans will still want to go even to Afghanistan. We prefer everywhere than the continent of Africa because Lebanon, Israel, those parts of the world, they are always in constant war. So we know that. But Africans, immediately after this, they will still want to go to Lebanon. What is really happening to us? What is really, how low have we become as African, as melanated people, that we would prefer anywhere, even with this current situation in Russia and Ukraine, you still have Africans who are saying that I would prefer to go to Ukraine than to be in Africa. Everywhere, anywhere will be better than Africa. Why? Like, who conditioned us to be thinking like this? Who conditioned us to think that anywhere is better? Can you imagine the kind of situation that our people have caught themselves into? And you know what? The sad thing is that the African Union, our respective government, ECOWAS, SADC, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And as I said, we, the citizens, we have to realize that and put aside whatever differences we have and come back to stand up and demand the unity of Africa, because that is where our dignity will come from. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter whatever. Anywhere in the world, people will disrespect you. The Lebanese will continue to disrespect us. The Arabians will continue to disrespect us until we stand up and unite the continent of Africa. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, as I said, if you appreciate what we are doing, One Africa Mission, our mission is all about our unity and our dignity as a race. If you appreciate what we are doing, then please support our mission by subscribing to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Facebook, One Africa Mission. We are on a mission until we regain back our dignity as children of Africa. I thank you very much.